Carl and Lou here from Games, Brains and a Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. It's Nasties time. As we go to... it exists. Yeah. It's a movie. Yeah. At times I thought it was fucking terrible.
Oh, God, yeah.
At times I thought it was terrible. But for the most part, it just exists. It's a movie. We saw it, and it's on the nasty list for... Reasons? Yeah, this isn't one of those where you generally don't get it. No. And to the surprise of no one, completely uncut quite early as well. The Boogeyman, 1980 American supernatural slasher, directed by Yuli Lamel and starring Susanna Love, John Carradine and Ron James. There's the three major casts. Got a few more, but I'll mention them later on. Yeah. The film's title refers to, of course, what? Bogeyman.
Yeah.
Superstition. Yeah, monster. Anything. Yeah. It's not even a monster under your bed. It's a monster, the dark.
Yeah.
You know, be in a corner. Yeah. You know, in this case, the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Released with 44 seconds cut in 1992. Uncut 2000. Yeah. So, yeah. Very, very early uncut film. Yeah. And, can you believe it, this movie wasn't prosecuted? I'm shocked. Absolutely. No surprise that most people think this movie's wank online. Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely. But also because of all the little rip-offs it's got. From Halloween, The Exorcist, The Amityville Horror. Amityville Horror is a big one. Yeah. Big one where you're like, oh, God, this is wank. But it was also followed by two sequels, Bogeyman 2 and Return of the Bogeyman. Bogeyman 2 is a nasty as well. So we will be covering that in the future. Yeah. We're not rushing to watch it because a brief reading synopsis suggests that a lot of it is just clips from the first film. Yep. And that's not urgent. Yeah. Absolutely. So the cast has said Susanna Love as Lacey, Ron James as Jake, John Carradine as Dr. Warren, and you've got Nicholas Love as Willie and Raymond Boyden as Kevin. So we begin with kids. So we do begin at like a sort of American house with kids and all that kind of thing, and this is the rip-off Halloween stuff. Yeah. Good God, is this Halloween like? His young siblings Willie and Lacey watch their mother and her boyfriend kissing in the bedroom, getting it on. Yeah. Mother notices, you know, and is angry about it, and her boyfriend ties Willie to his headboard. Yeah. And we were like, the fuck is
a bit much.
Extreme in it? Yeah. Bit much,
bit
right?
Much, yeah, straight in, like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, you're a dick, fair enough, that's fine, we've established that. But then Lacey goes to her room but comes back with a knife and cuts Willie free. And I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with these kids? Yeah. Like, that seems a bit nuts as well. Yeah. Like, get a knife and cut him free. She's quite young, this Lacey. Yeah. Probably like 5 or 6. But yeah, because apparently then this encourages Willie to go into his parents, his mother's bedroom with a boyfriend who were getting it on with the knife and kill the boyfriend, stepfather, whatever, which takes place in front of a large mirror. You wouldn't notice that unless you read about it afterwards. I certainly didn't at the time. But yeah, it's like, okay, cool. We should note as well that this is all done from, a lot of this is done from his eyes perspective. Yeah. Which is the Halloween thing. And like, as soon as we saw it, we were like, you fucking cheeky, lazy fucks. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Really? Really? Unsurprisingly, cut to 20 years later. Lacey, who's now an adult, is married with a young son and lives with her aunt and uncle on a farm. Very nice looking farm, very homey looking farm. Yeah. Willie also lives with them, but has been mute since the night he killed his mother's boyfriend. Hilariously, it seems to suggest he never went to prison or youth offender or anything like that. Absolutely, they just got adopted or something like that. One night over dinner, Lacey finds a letter in the mail from her mother who claims to be on her deathbed and wishes to see them one last time. But Willie burns the letter because he's not interested. And we're baffled at this point. We're like, okay, so like, what happened? Like, the authorities came along, like, explain to us what happened in between the murder and now. Yeah. Because there's a lot of detail we need to understand here.
20 years,
Yeah, what happened? Did he go to prison? Did he go to youth, well, not prison, but youth offence and stuff like that? Did he spend some time in a mental institution? Yeah. That sort of thing. No. Did the mother, like, seeing that murder happen, end up in an institute herself? Yeah, like, these things. Yeah. But Lacey obviously suffers from nightmares, but she doesn't really remember. That's the thing. She doesn't really remember the events, because that'd be a thing as well that could work quite nicely as trauma unearthed. Yeah. But the film just doesn't tell its story well enough to do that. But in her dreams, she seems to be dragged, tied to a bed, and killed by an unseen entity. That's what keeps happening over and over again. Jake, he wants to help her. He's a nice enough dude in this. It takes her to a psychiatrist to help her confront her fears. And then decides, look, why don't we go back to your childhood house where you grew up in, and maybe that'll help kind of like deal with some of your demons from your childhood. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a terrible idea.
Immersion therapy. No.
It's not a terrible idea. They arrive not knowing who is living there, and they meet the 2 teenage girls and the younger brother. I actually like this little group together. They're quite energetic. They're quite you know, and they're friendly. It's cool.
Yeah.
The parents are obviously out of town, and the house is up for sale, so they're actually moving out at this point. The daughter thinks Lacey and Jake have been sent by the real estate company to view the house, which Jake then decides to take advantage of and figure, yep, we can get in based off this.
Mooch around as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In the house, Lacey sees a reflection of her mother's deceased boyfriend coming towards her in a mirror in the bedroom where he died.
Yeah.
So she freaks out and smashes the mirror in a panic with a chair.
Yeah.
That's how we get to where we're going. Her husband, he takes the broken mirror in an attempt to repair it.
Yeah, no chance. It's not even like cracked in half.
Shattered.
Yeah, thousands of pieces. Yeah.
But
no
why?
Chance. Yeah, what? You just kind of help to clean it up and go, sorry,
Really sorry, pay for
a
it.
new one. You wouldn't.
Well, he offered to pay for it, and she said, "I don't worry about it, it's no mirror."
Yeah, just.
But he's like, "I'll repair it," and it's like, "Why?
Why?
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to."
There's jigsaw puzzles for that.
So part of it could be is that a lot of Lacey's fears do revolve around mirrors, and Willie's got a similar problem as we see him sort of blacking out mirrors in the farmhouse that gets him in trouble, paints them and stuff like that. Willie is given he is a mute. They also kind of do the whole of mice and men thing with him. A Lenny thing where he's got the dungarees, he's bigger and seems to be a bit struggling.
Yeah.
Struggling. That's what they seem to sort of suggest, because they treat him with like a certain way. When he paints the mirrors, it's just like you will clean it off with turpentine and stuff like that. Yeah. But when they leave the house, when the mirror got broken, we do see one piece is left behind, which ends up glowing red. This then leads to our first load of deaths as the teenage girls and the brother are all killed by someone we never see. And this is it's very violent. There's a strangulation.
Yeah.
There's boobs as well.
And it's young
kids,
as well.
teenagers and youngsters. So, this is probably one of the more highlight moments. Yeah, absolutely.
Got them in trouble.
Yeah, well, cut down. The 44 seconds cut will probably round about here. Yeah. I suspect more than anything else. But there's nothing you haven't seen in the Nasties. There's nothing you haven't seen in horror at this time. Not at this time. This time, 100%. Kidding me? It's 1980. Yeah. 1980. No, not 87. 80.
Right.
Of course, we already know what's happened. This is the thing, right? There's no mystery here. Here. It's like, okay, that's a vengeful spirit. The glowing red thing immediately makes it supernatural. Yeah. Immediately makes it. So, well, who is it? We already saw him in the reflection. Yeah. He's now back because he wants revenge for his death. I guess he had to wait until one of the kids came and looked in the mirror for that to work. I don't know.
No, I doesn't care enough to explain.
I don't care enough to even really worry about it, you know? Willie, same problems in the mirror as we already said. But later pieces of broken mirror in a bag at his feet cause a pitchfork to levitate and nearly impales him in the barn. These are random scenes jotted together because you're like, what a puzzle comes from is how does the spirit work? All glass, all mirrors, or that one specifically? Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Because later it will imply it's that mirror specifically because one particular piece gets stuck on someone's foot.
Yeah.
That shard gets stuck to Lacey's son's shoe and is left on the ground where the light blinds across the lake. Oh my god, this part. I'm going to try my hardest to explain this, right? Right. So we get introduced randomly, because it's a slasher movie and you just need a body count, to this group of teenagers on the other side of the lake. Yeah. Just having a party or planning to leave. They keep doing that back and forth. Some in a gun car, some at the beach. Goes on for fucking ever. The piece of glass that's stuck in his foot gets hit by the sun, which apparently allows the killer to travel with the light across to the other beach and then murder these random people.
That's how it works.
What? Yeah. What? I don't get it.
No.
I don't get it. It makes it more nonsensical, but it's just clearly, let's up the body count.
Yeah, because that's it. Struggle.
Yeah, because ultimately you can't kill up. Most of the main cast aren't going to die here. You can't do much about that.
Could have like hitching a ride with them or something, and like hitching a ride, the kids with them, like that kind of death. Like as your journey along, the people you encounter.
Yeah, that would make more sense. That would make a lot more sense.
Their car breaks down, or they get picked up and stuff along the way. But...
So, like, out of the 4 kids, the teenagers, it's 2 that are killed, 2 end up driving away. But that's sort of done in a silly setup. So you have, like, the 2 start to kiss in the car and get a screwdriver and impaled through them, right?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Which is a cool death. It's a cool death. The others, seeing it from the distance, think, look, they're just kissing, whatever. We'll meet up with them later on and drive off. Which isn't the worst thing in the world. You know,
I kind of get it. It's like
I argue
later.
Yeah, I argue that, like, visibility in cars ain't that bad. You're like, are they okay though? They're not moving.
Yeah, that was our thing when we watched it. It was like...
Yeah, they're not far enough away to convince me that they really couldn't see. Not saying you'd see, like, the screwdriver, but see that they were clearly not moving.
Yeah, static.
Then that was unusual.
Yeah.
But yeah, things start to go wrong here. We kind of speed up as Lacey's shirt, she gets attacked on her way into the house, and her shirt kind of gets ripped off. No real nudity here. No. We're just trying to expose some flesh. But she does discover her aunt and uncle have been killed in the barn. Some cool kind of effects. Got a whole pitchfork in his neck, that kind of thing. It's not terrible. It's 80s fair stuff. Lacey's husband then decides to bring in the priest. We're going exorcism style. We are. To investigate the mirror that he's put up in the thing, but there's one piece missing. But the priest touches the mirror and it starts to turn red. A piece of mirror then floats across the room and becomes lodged in Lacey's eye, which was a shocking moment because you're the main character. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she's gonna go. Yeah.
Unfortunately, this just leads to possession, which is pretty shit. As the ghost controlling Lacey, she knocks her husband down, attacks the priest. But before the priest dies, he removes the shard from her eye, which releases her from the ghost's control, and then throws it in the kitchen sink where it bursts into flame as it touches water. This is a little bit of a frantic sort of sequence, and it's enjoyable because of that. It's quite fast-paced, and the whole glass in the eye thing for a main character was intriguing.
We don't want dragged out, do we? That's what kills a lot of these films for us, like slog.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep it peppy.
It is a short film, we will say that. It's not going to overstay its welcome. As the remainder of the mirror is then thrown into the well, where apparently water is this mirror's Achilles heel, because like we get like a full-on flame erupting out of the well, and that apparently is it. Or is it? We see Lacey, her brother, and Kevin visit the graveyard. After they leave, we see that there's a shard of mirror, apparently, still stuck in her son's shoe from earlier on. Yeah. And we just see it glow red. Yeah. It's like, it's not over. There we go. Okay. But I'm just like, but why that mirror? Why that mirror specifically? Why not any mirror?
Just a house mirror?
Yeah, I'm fine with being that mirror specifically. But if you're going to do the whole travel by light thing... earlier on, like, you've got to be a bit more free and easy with this. Yeah. You're better off just doing the whole all mirrors. Yeah. Because then in the sequel, you can do the idea that they live in a place where they do everything to avoid. Hasn't that been done?
There must have been. It must have been done.
Well, there's things like Mirrors, the J-horror film and stuff like that utilise mirrors in that sense. Not the American remake Into the Mirror or Kiefer Sutherland. Hate that movie. The J-horror with mirrors. And obviously mirrors go back to old times of, like, beliefs and superstitions and elements. I mean, literally, what's one of the most breaking mirror? 7 years bad luck. Yeah. You know, elements like that. It's like we said at the start. It just exists, this movie, and it feels so cut from all the other things around. Not even like the famous ones like Halloween, like The Exorcist, like Amityville Horror. Just 80s horror in general. It just feels cut and copy and paste of every little thing. Yep. No, usually we wouldn't do this, but I am going to jump in and touch briefly upon what the sequels have to offer. Wow. So Bogeyman 2 was filmed in 1981, but unreleased until 1983 because nobody wanted it. Directed by Bruce Starr and an uncredited Yuli Lommel. It was written by Starr Lommel and the original film star Susanna Love, although the writing goes uncredited in the film. So she had a bit more involvement in this. Right, okay. The basic story is in Bogeyman 2, Lacey's approached by a group of Hollywood phonies to make a movie based on her experiences. All right, never seen that before. Yeah. Lacey travels to Hollywood to the home of a film director played by Uli Lommel himself, which would be fun, see him. Which brings along the last surviving haunted mirror shard from the end of the first movie as proof of her horrifying experiences. Right. One by one, the phonies are killed by the mirror spirit who possesses the body of the director's manservant. So, yeah, more slasher in that sense. Yeah. And the movie is padded out with flashback sequences from the first film. Return of the Bogeyman, or Bogeyman 3, was released May 5th, 1994. Wow. So we have a big jump in style here. And is largely constructed around numerous flashbacks to the original movie as well. Wow. So I can't wait. Thankfully, that's not a nasty, because it came out in 94. Okay. So other than probably watching it for the review of the
Just
site
to
complete the Bogeyman trilogy, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out my way. It's not being done anytime soon. Bogeyman 2 we have to do because it's a nasty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't care for this. I got very little positive to say beyond some sequences that stand out. As we say, the teenage girls and their deaths and the frantic kitchen part are probably the two.
And the screwdriver put them together.
Yeah, but the only problem is that's a brief scene amongst a sequence that comes out of nowhere. You immediately know why it's there and goes on too long.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Beyond that, I don't care for this movie at all. No. I was hoping for something better, and it was disappointing.
Crap,
and particularly in regards to a nasty. There's nothing nasty here.
No.
It's that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the Bogeyman from 1980. What do you reckon? Got any thoughts? Let us know in the comments.
Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for? Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please help us out by giving us a thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. If you really liked what you saw, consider donating to keep the website and channel running by buying us a coffee via our coffee page or picking up some merch from our Big Cartel store. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as via our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, as well as listen to our interviews via SoundCloud, Apple Music and Spotify. Just search for GBHBL. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?